Alright, I had to make a part 2 here on this generator to alternator upgrade on my 59 Edsel here. And I was getting to naming the company out towards the end of the video because I ran out of memory. I was trying to name the company that makes the generator to alternator kit, and I have that. It's over here. Alright, it's getting to the name of the company. And it's literally called crap. And anyway, that's the name of it right there, believe it or not. But anyway, that's their phone number and everything. And this is what they call the Ford FE generator to alternator conversion kit. It's a really nice kit. It's really detailed. It points everything out. They even printed these pictures off and sent them to me. So it's really, really nice. It shows how everything's bolted up really nice. And just makes it really detailed. That's this bracket right here. Now, you could honestly probably make that. But that's this bracket right there. And they are using a 2G Ford alternator there. But anyway, I want to get back on this, jump on this here, because I can't find no information on these Edsels here. So we're going to go ahead and start installing this kit. And here's the one bolt that comes with this. There's actually tape holding this on. This installs down here on the block here. In the first video, I was pointing it out that it does not have the boss for the bolt hole in the block there. So this bolts on to the side, just like this. You hold that on down there and it bolts just like that. Let me thread that right on up in there real quick. And I just figured I'd throw this in there real quick before I bolt that back on there. The way they got this design here is it's slotted, if you notice that. So you can actually adjust this bracket back and forth. So when you set this up, you'll be able to adjust your alternator, you know, slightly back or forward there. That way you can get the correct belt alignment on it. So that's kind of nice. Really nice. Alright, so I went ahead and got this Z bracket, I guess you would call it. Got that installed there. That ain't no big deal. Now we're going to go ahead and get these brackets right here installed. I don't understand why it's not a lot of information on these Edsels here. Just simple upgrades like that. But I hope this helps a lot of people out there. But it's really not that hard. But the next thing we got to do is get this bracket on. And just the way I got it sitting is the way it bolts on. Just like that. If we look in our pictures, I'll show that as well. So it bolts on just like that. Now I'm not using some of this hardware here. I am going to use a couple different bolts. But this one has a hex key bolt. And I think this is, yeah, here it is. I'm not using it personally because, you know, why you want to sit there and change hardware like that? Just use a regular bolt. But anyway, we're going to use our brackets over here. So we'll go ahead and get this thing installed here. So we'll get this bracket right here. It's got one bolt right here on this hole here, and then our next one, it takes a spacer, which is right here. So it takes a spacer. You got to watch out because it's got two different spacers. But keep this spacer right here. So we'll get that installed next. You got a water pump. You should have a water pump. It's got 3 bolt holes just like this one. We look at our water pump. We count them out. There's 1, 2, 3 right there. You're good to go. Now, another thing I want to point out is this water pump on here is for 69 Mustang. Is what it come up as. So you should have this same water pump here. Now, I could not find any information on this water pump, but watch out for the distance between this impeller and this pump here, because some of them, the distance right in here is a little different. So watch out for that. But anyway, let's get this bracket on here so we can go on and get this kind of wrapped up here. So I'm gonna get this installed next. Alrighty, I want to point this out too. When you upgrade your generator to an alternator on the Edsel here, like I was talking about these spacers, I figure I would point it out here. You can easily tell the difference between the two. The one that is taller is for a GM alternator. The shorter one goes right on that bolt hole down there. So watch out for that. So you got to keep an eye out for that. This one goes down here. The shorter one always goes down here. And then you're good to go. Alright, so we went ahead and got this bracket bolted up here. We went ahead and installed our spacer there. And you want to leave the other bolt back here a little bit loose. That way you can take and move your arm for the alternator bracket for your belt tension there. Kind of leave it a little bit loose there. That way when you go to put your alternator back on, you can be able to adjust the tension on it. We'll point that out there, but that's how it kind of looks there. Let's get to the front, show a little better view of it. It's really simple, really simple. All the bolts are a 14 millimeter. Go figure, you know, aftermarket parts. But that's alright. Now this is a 2G alternator sitting down there. We're not running it. I'm just mocking this up just to help y'all. A GM alternator is what I'm going to put on here. And I'm just mocking this all up to help y'all. There's the alternator bracket down there if you can see it. Right here. But I'm going to go ahead and stick this alternator on here. And we'll get that mocked up there. This one right here is a 5/8. So we'll go ahead and mock this on up. And I'll show y'all the result here. Alright, so we're back here. I got this 2G alternator bolted up here. Got our Z bracket, as I guess you would call it. Got that bolted up. That's got a 14 millimeter on it. Got two bolts up here with their spacer. They're 14 millimeter. 9/16 works fine too. But 14 millimeter fits a little bit better on those three right there. And we have our 5/8 bolt down there. It's got it bolted up. And the only thing I really kind of don't like about this is the clearance between this bracket right here and this bouncer. It's got like a ring on this arm mount bouncer here. Don't quite like that. But I think with a little bit of adjustment, once we put a belt on, because we'll have to get a little bit longer belt anyway. But I think we can